about to get started here. If you can find a seat.
Hello, how are you, everyone?
Good evening, good evening. Thank you all for being here. Hope everyone is taking the time to sign in. I'm going to take this thing off.
Gracias.
You ready? Good evening and thank you for being here for the Alliance for Peace, Keeping Our Youth Safe. Alliance kickoff tonight. This is a really important meeting. I'm glad that you're here. I'm always wanting more people in the room, but this is a great start. Give yourselves a round of applause for being here. We do have a table for translation, if anyone needs translation. Oh, Maria, come on up.
Say it in
Maria,
Spanish.
Olivia Flores will say it in Spanish.
Thank you, Martin. Welcome, everybody. Just going to ask, voy a preguntar en español si alguien necesita traducción. If anybody needs translation, we have the translating equipment here. Tenemos el equipo de traducir aquí, por favor. Muy amable, pueden subir y con mucho gusto le traducimos la reunión. Gracias.
Thank you, Maria. Before we get started, I'm going to ask you to indulge me and allow me to do what I think is important just for me. I just need about 15 seconds, moment of silence. You do what you need to do. I'm going to do what I do. We know that we've had some challenges here in the community. And I just want to pause for a second for a moment of silence for those individuals that are not here with us right now. And thank you. So why are we here? We're here to kick off the Alliance for Peace. It's an association that's been formulated because we were fortunate enough to receive a grant from our Senator Pete Harper. We've had some challenges in this community, going back to 2020 when we lost the young man, Mckenzie, and then the year after that we lost Joaquin Salazar. Then we had a young lady that was shot, and at the beginning of this month, we had another gunshot right on Main Street there. So we got some challenges, and it's not just here in Peekskill, it's all over the place. We got an opportunity to do something about it. We want to hear from you, get your thoughts, get your feedback. Rather than tell you what's going on, I think it's best to try to hear what other people are feeling, to try to understand the problem, rather than assume that we already know it. Because I know I have a perspective, but the young men I work with, they got a totally different perspective. They're in it. We need to hear from them. We need to hear from parents. We need to hear from all these community stakeholders that are here. So that's kind of why we're here. We have this alliance that we're forming. An alliance is more than just a collaboration. It's something that's a little bit tighter, a little bit more bonding. So we're going to be partnering with more young men coming in. Good to see you guys. We're going to be partnering with the City of Peekskill and Mayor Mckenzie. We're going to partner. Oh, give it up, yeah. And we're partnering with the City of Peekskill. That includes, right on cue, that includes the police department and the Peekskill Youth Bureau. It's part of that. We're also partnering with the Peekskill City School District, Dr. Mauricio and his staff, and they have all the people that And so again, thank you for being here. We want to talk about youth violence. We want to talk about what's going on, why it's happening, and what we can do to try to assure that it's not going to happen again. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Vivian Mckenzie to share a few words and greet us and let us know her perspective on this serious situation that we have here. Mayor Mckenzie, give it up.
Thank you, everyone. Closer? Thank you, everyone, for coming out this evening. This is a very important issue to us in the city, for our parents, for our children, for our school district, just in general. When these events started to happen, our city manager and I started to talk about this. We reached out to Senator Harcum, and we said, we have an issue here and we need to figure out how to solve it. And Senator Harcum was amazing and found us money and an avenue for us to try to work with our children. So we are here tonight to hear from our children and from our parents as to what they think the issues are and as to how we can solve it. There are two different grants. Mr. McDonald has one grant, the City of Peaksville has one grant, but we want to work together to make sure that our children and our community is safe. And that we know that Peaksville is a safe place. It's not that it is every day that we're having these issues, but we don't want it to be every day that we're having these issues. We want to nip it in the bud. We need to find out why we're having these issues and how we can stop having these issues and what we can do to make sure that everyone is safe. So thank you for coming out tonight. I would hope that you would be involved in the conversation, especially our young people, because if we don't hear from you to understand what your concerns are, then we don't know. And you know what? I'm old, so I'm not going to know what's up against you, but I can help you if you tell me. So it's really important that you are involved tonight and let us know what you need and how we can help you. And at this time, I'll turn it over to our city manager, Matt Alvin.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. I just wanted to say how important it was to hear what each one of you think about what the right answer is to ending violence here in the city of Peekskill. I'm so thankful to the Black Diamonds for putting this together and for their participation with the Youth Bureau and Senator Harcum and putting together this peace alliance along with the school district. On the day of the day after the first shooting incident that we had in June, you know, I was filled with questions as a new city manager. Where is this happening? Why is this happening? What's going on? And I came back befuddled and very interested in finding out like where the missing piece was. I called our police chief and talked to him. I think that the city has a lot of offerings through its youth bureau, the Kiley Center, its camp programs, but somewhere, somehow, we're missing a piece, and I'm very interested to hear what people have to say tonight, and look forward to getting your input. Thank you.
So good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. It's great to see everyone come out here to try to solve this issue and to, more importantly, hear what you have to say. My goal, being a part of this Alliance for Peace, is to try to put myself out of business. Because if I'm getting involved, something at this point has gone very, very wrong. We offer programs, we offer outreach to the community, to the children. Anybody that knows me knows I've been involved in community policing and juvenile issues since 2004. But I'm so interested in trying to hear from all of you on how we can solve these issues and make our community a better place. Because that's how we do solve the issues. We work as a community and we work together. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. David Mauricio. I'm the proud superintendent of Peekskill City School District, a homeowner and resident here in Peekskill, a parent of a first grader in about a week, and very excited about her attending school at Woodside. And so I wear many hats, obviously, as many of you do as well, and my perspective is very different depending on which hat I'm wearing, but at the end of the day, it's always about what's best for children. What's best for Ileana, my little girl, and what's best for 3,600 students in our school district. I'm just going to share a few things about our engagement with families, our social-emotional learning supports that we provide to our youth, opportunities for them to be engaged, and then collaborative partnerships. And I'd like just to begin for a moment, if you will, recognizing our Board of Education longstanding member, former President Michael Simpkins. Let's give him a round of applause. He's a wonderful board member, and I think 2 board meetings in is our newest board member, and Eric Riquetta is a teacher and also a board member as well. parent of children in the school district as well, so he also wears many hats. And very important that we think about the partnerships that we have, because we cannot do this work alone. It's going to take guidance from our young adults. It's also going to take a village approach to supporting our students and solving this issue. And I just wanted to take a few moments to recognize our amazing administrative team and staff. They're over here on the right and the left, so if you could just please stand and let us recognize you. Thank you. Our most recent appointments are Mrs. Oliver Flores, who's going to be director of our LEAP initiative, and she is to our left here. And it's always tough to pull a great teacher out of a classroom, but sometimes there's a greater good. And she's going to be amazing filling in the role of Maria Oliver Flores and taking us into new spaces and new directions. That is Dr. Bridget Holloman, and she's over there. And just wanted to say a big thank you to our PTO members who are here, Peekskill Education Foundation members and partners, NAACP and the Rotary who are here, and I'm sure there's others as well, but they are great partners of our city school district. And I just wanted to take a moment to recognize two individuals that are sons of Peekskill, who Martin spoke about. And then I'm going to add, and you may add quietly, someone that you may have lost. And I'm going to add my friend Romy, at 17 years old, who lost his life in a very similar way. But Amarian and Joaquin, we committed to their families that we would not let their lives be lost in vain, and that we would continue these efforts with Mrs. McDonald, Mr. McDonald, our mayor, our senator, our elected officials who are here today, and all of our partners, that we would continue this effort so that it never happens again. And that's why we're here today. And so thank you to all of the families who are part of this initiative, and our hearts go out to the families who lost friends and family as well. So just very briefly, the engagement of our parents and families is so important. We cannot do this work alone. It is a bridge that we have in our school district. Former Mayor Andre Rainey, who's here, as well as give him a big round of applause. He and I saw eye to eye, as our current mayor does, many, many things. And one thing we were always laser focused on is family and being engaged in our young people's lives and in their education. So, as you know, we have a Lisa Roleri Family Resource Center that was recently opened about a year ago, and that is available to you as a community. That is your community center. That is for you as families to engage and bring programming. We are just housing it and staffing it, but it is your family resource center, and consider it that way. It is also an opportunity for us to offer different types of programming for our families based on what the needs are. And so we want to extend that opportunity for our families as we move forward. Social emotional learning. So we, as you know, employ counselors and psychologists and social workers, and the board has supported this commitment to have them in every school from kindergarten through grade 12. We also have support at Uriah Hill as well, so that we plant the seeds early for our children. And we have zones of regulation, so when kids are having some emotional challenges from pre-K all the way up to Hillcrest age 5, grade 5, they can go into a separate space, calm down. We have different manipulatives that they can use and reflection activities so that they can not be removed from the classroom, but rather get themselves together and get back to learning. And that is done in the classroom. And I want to recognize Ellen Gerace, our director, who led that effort. Thank you for being we also have Therapeutic Crisis Intervention Services, and this is a very important initiative that we've embarked on a couple of years ago, training our counselors and our first responders in our schools to deal with crisis in a way that's therapeutic rather than punitive. And so our first approach, as the chief of police shared, is that we want to undo those realities that sometimes we have to employ, but we also want to have that therapeutic response, which is about de-escalation of our young people when they're in a heightened state. And so very important, again, Ellen Gerace brought that to the district. I want to thank her for her leadership in that effort as well. And then let's talk about engaging students, and hopefully today we will talk about that. But I'll just talk briefly. We have many after-school programs that are available. We're partnering with the Youth Bureau and other great partners who are here today, and we're going to continue to engage our youth. Sports programs, we're bringing Modified down to the Hillcrest level. Thank you, Austin Goldberg, amazing program director. And he also brought the first one of 9 teams, girls football. And we launched that inaugural team last year as well, so thank you for that, Mr. Goldberg. We have 20 clubs at the high school under the great leadership of Dr. Jenna Ferris and her team, and that is wonderful. We offer orchestra, chorus, and band, and theater, and the My Brothers Who Keeper initiative, which is aligned with Black Diamond's Academic Success Initiative. Let's give Martin McDonald a big round of applause. Girls Empowerment Movement and Sisterhood called the GEMS, and they are at the high school. We want to bring them down to the middle school. We also have our Saturday Academy, which is mostly for young children, and this is all very important work. And then I'll say this is where we're struggling. I'll end with this. This is where we need help. This is where we need to double down our efforts. And one is we need to improve our connection with hard-to-reach young men and young women. Yes. There are students who aren't going to put on a tie for MBK. They're not going to come to our events. They're not going to be part of that initiative. And where we reach our arm out, they're just beyond that. And we need better ways and strategies to get to them, and I'm hoping to hear from our youth on those strategies. That transition from school to home, they're in supervised environments, but once they leave the middle school and the high school and they're working and they're walking home, sometimes things happen. And I know they did when we were young, but they are happening, and we want to make sure that we can, as a community, help engage our students in great behavior, treating each other with respect. And then lastly, I would say that making sure that, and I love this about Peekskill, is we don't accept differences, we don't tolerate differences. It is part of who we are, and we appreciate differences. Not that we're perfect in the school district, but that's an area of movement for us as well that we have to improve on. We have to have our youth respect the pride community in our schools and our students who are of different orientations, and know that that's okay, and you are meant to be who you are, and that's who you should be. Also, students from immigrant backgrounds and different ethnicities, all very important for us. Those are areas that we continue to work on, and I hope to work with you to improve in that effort. And with that, I will turn it over to Senator Hart.
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to thank Dr. Mauricio and great team and the Peekskill Schools, Mayor Mckenzie, the entire City Council, City Manager, Police Chief, of course, Martin McDonald, the Black Diamonds, the Youth Bureau, the NAACP of Peekskill. This is a remarkable coalition. It really is a remarkable coalition. The Alliance for Peace. And someone once said that peace is not just the absence of war. It's what are the climate for all of us to live together in peace and harmony. And that's what this is about. Getting the money was the easy part. The hard work starts tonight. And it starts with us listening. I, to be quite frank, am not a young man of color. I'm not a young woman of color. I don't have that lived experience. So I cannot tell you how I'm going to fix your problems if I don't know what they are and I don't listen. So this is about, as Dr. Mauricio said, reaching people who are just beyond our fingertips. We don't want anybody to be beyond our fingertips. We want everybody connected. And that's what tonight is about, so we can listen. What are the challenges? What are the barriers? What are the triggers? A lot of these cases, these are not random acts of violence. People know each other. This is about conflict. How do we infuse conflict resolution skills so that we can prevent these things before they happen? And how do we wrap services around people who are feeling trouble, who are feeling angered, who are feeling lost, who are feeling like they're about to act out, so that we don't get in these situations in the first place. And as the chief said, our goal is to put him out of business. Nothing personal, Chief.
None taken.
So I'm really excited. I'm glad to be able to support this effort, to be part of this effort, and we will be here to support this community every step of the way. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. So what we're going to do right now, before we get into this school district doing the presentation, is walking us through our conversation. We got some pizza over here. What we're going to do is try to get the pizza out of the way. If you come up, line up, get the pizza, and get back to your tables as quickly as possible with as little bit of conversation as possible. I know that's a challenge for many of us, but try to get the pizza and get back so we can continue. We've got about 5-10 minutes. All right?
That was a round of applause. Salute yourself. This is fantastic. And just think if every community took time to do this, what great things we could accomplish. At this time, Mr. McDonald.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all. Wow, what a powerful evening it has been. We'll try to wrap this up. Where do we go from here? Well, we go here, from here is forward. We got to come up with a plan. We have a bit of a plan. Black Diamond and the Alliance for Peace, we have part of a plan. What we're going to get from this night is going to add to our plan. We're going to take in some of the things that you have said and try to incorporate them and try to put the resources to solving these problems or to addressing these issues in order to deal with the problem, man. It's really near and dear. It's hard. It's tough. It's not easy. It's going to take some tough conversations, some real conversations. And along the way, we're going to have some issues that we're going to have to address, but it's not going to be easy. But it's going to be necessary to address them. We got a gentleman coming in that's going to work with the Black Diamonds. His name is Antonio Henderson. Antonio Henderson has a program called Lead by Example, Reverse the Trend. He's been doing this work for the past 15 years down in Harlem. He has a history. He has street cred, as you would call it. He's been in and out of jail. Got out of jail, turned his life around, started his own 501c3, owns 2 businesses down in Harlem, and he's going to come in back to Peekskill. He's been in Peekskill before, but he's going to come back to Peekskill, and he's going to conduct workshops. I'm just going to give you a quick glimpse of what that's going to look like, and that's starting September 12th. We're going to be working with 15 to 20 participants. So the workshops will accommodate between 15 and 20 participants and will provide anti-gun awareness through the use of credible messengers, including individuals who have been touched by real effects of gun violence. It is expected that the workshops would encourage participants to recognize the value of resolving conflicts without resorting to violence and understanding the consequences of the involvement of gun violence. Workshops would work towards developing and improving life skills, decision-making skills, as well as coping skills. The overall goal of the workshops is to encourage participants to become part of the solution to ending gun violence and violence in general, and while finding a way to work together to promote safety within their community. That's going to be the program that we start, but we need more programs. And we got to get this done. We're going to address it as much as we can this year up until the end of the year. We're looking for this alliance to grow. Well, we have the NAACP, we have the Youth Bureau, we got the city, we got the police department, we got the school district. There's room for more. There's room for other organizations, other concerned organizations, community members, people that want to be a part of this, to see this really happen. We can't do a one and done. We need more of the churches involved. We would love to have the Rotary Club involved. We would love to have any fraternity or sorority that's in this community to help us with this. It's not a Black Diamond thing. It's not a Peekskill City School District thing. It's not a police department thing. It's a we thing. If we do it together, we'll get a lot further than trying to do it on our own. Give it up for that. That was good. So that being said, we're going to try to just put as much as we can out there. I'm going to turn it over now to the mayor of this great city of Peekskill, and I thank the former mayor for being here. Thank you for always being supportive and always being out. And after now, Mayor Vivian Mckenzie come up and close us out. Thank you to the mayor. Keep it up.
Thank you. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out and participate, but tonight is just the beginning. We are going to be calling upon you to do more of these and to work together to put these programs together. Martin and the Black Diamonds is working on one project. The city is supporting that project, and we're all going to work together. And the city will be working on another initiative as well, featuring the 18 to 24-year-old men and women who have been in contact with law enforcement, who've had some issues, who are struggling, and we're trying to meet them where they are. But as a community, we are going to work together to make this program work through our community, because it can only work that way if everyone's involved. So from the city, we'll be reaching out to you individually, we'll be reaching out to your organization, we'll be reaching out to the business owners. We are going to reach out to everyone until we make sure that our children are safe and accounted, and that we can make sure we're taking care of them. So thank you for coming out, thank you for your participation, and I look forward to working with you in the future.